Hey everybody, welcome back to Photorec.tv. One of the things that I love about the Sony E-mount system is the sheer number of lenses available to you, especially when you include third-party lenses, some of which are a great value. Let's say, for instance, you want a fast wide-angle zoom. Well, you've got Sony's 16-35 f2.8. It is a very good lens, but you pay for it and it's a bit heavy. Or you could buy this Tamron 17-28 f2.8. It's half the price and significantly less weight. That's what I did. I bought it shortly after it was released, and now I've owned it for the last 3 years. Now, Sigma has released a similar lens. Incredibly similar. Let's see how it compares, and stay tuned to the end of this video to find out why I sold my Tamron a few weeks ago. This week's video is brought to you by Squarespace. I run all of my websites on Squarespace. They make it so easy. And easy means more time for me to be out in the garden, enjoying. They've got gorgeous starting templates that, combined with the ease of drag and drop, makes it just so simple to build a beautiful website quickly. Do you know that Squarespace has a fantastic analytics app that's mobile? I can lay here on the couch, watch a little YouTube, and keep track of who's visiting my site. It even gives me alerts when a lot of people are
What
visiting.
are you watching?
Hey, that's not important. No, come back to me. I want to talk about Squarespace's membership portal now. A fantastic, easy to set up community system that you can run on your website. You can try Squarespace out for free today at squarespace.com/photorectv. And when you do go to buy, you'll save 10%. Thank you for checking them out, and thanks Squarespace for sponsoring this video. This new lens from Sigma is a 16-28 f2.8, available for Sony and L mount systems. I tested it on a Sony A1 body. Let's jump right in and talk about build quality. Both of them are internal zoom lenses, going from 16-28 in the case of the Sigma, or 17-28 in the case of the Tamron. I'll talk more about that difference in a minute. Internal zoom means nothing protrudes as you zoom. Now, the Sigma has a counterclockwise zoom rotation ring closer to the body. The focus ring is out at the end. The Tamron is the opposite of that, with your zoom ring moving clockwise and the focus ring is closer to the body. They're both built with polycarbonate plastic material. Both of them are weather sealed. And having owned the Tamron for several years, I can tell you I've never had any real issues with dust or moisture. I do expect the Sigma to perform similarly, though I can't say for sure because I've only had it for a few weeks now. One noticeable difference on the side of the Sigma is an AF/MF switch, which I have to say I really appreciate. The Tamron is naked, no switches at all. They feel identical when you're holding them in the hand in both size and weight. Putting them on the scale, you see that the Sigma is a tiny bit heavier. And while the front elements look almost exactly the same size to me, the Sigma uses a 72mm filter and the Tamron uses a 67mm filter. Now, if you have either of the other Tamron lenses that are part of this trinity, the 28-75 f2.8 or the 70-180 f2.8, they all use 67mm filters, and so that pairs nicely, should we say that trios nicely, and makes it easy to share filters across the range of those lenses without any step-up rings. Now, it's not a big deal one way or the other, but something you might want to consider. Picking a winner in the build quality category, I like the arrangement on the Sigma better, with that zoom ring close, focus ring out at the end, and of course that AF/MF switch. It's nice. It also looks and feels just a little bit nicer in my opinion, so I give the win to the Sigma, but a lot of it comes down to personal preference. And how about the fact that the Sigma is wider? Yes, it is actually wider. I just wanted to make sure they didn't take any liberties with labeling the focal range. I also double-checked on the 28 side of things, and actually the Sigma is a tiny bit longer than the 28 on the Tamron, so the Sigma possibly gives you just a little bit more than that 1mm difference from 16 to 17. Let's start to dig into the performance of these two lenses, comparing the two lenses at their widest at f2.8. In the center, it's a toss-up. I think I lean a little more towards the Tamron, but you have to look hard, pixel peeping at 200% to see a real difference. Editor Toby here with a quick voiceover.
When I first did these tests, it looked like the Tamron squeaked out a little bit sharper at the wider focal lengths in the corners. Looking carefully and shooting a few more test results, I just never saw that again.
At f4, it becomes more noticeable in favor of the Sigma, but it continues to increase in Sigma's favor as you stop down to f8. Back outside, the Sigma does start to outperform the Tamron in the corners as you stop down, seemingly consistent in this result. Now let's look at the middle of the range. Zooming to 20 millimeters, at f2.8, again, even in the center, but now the Sigma is definitely sharper in the corners, and as you start to stop down, the Sigma becomes noticeably sharper across the board. I was a bit surprised by how much of a difference it is, but this difference was consistent across multiple shots indoors and out. Basically above f4, the Sigma wins easily at the corners and edges. Now let's zoom to the end of the range. The center as a toss-up at f2.8, but the Sigma easily wins in the corners at all apertures, and as you stop down, the Sigma just starts to eke out a win in the center. So to summarize, at the wider focal lengths, very hard to tell a difference between these two lenses in the center. Zoom to 20 millimeters, middle of the range of the lens, the Sigma is better, especially in the corners. Zoom all the way to 28, and the Sigma is noticeably sharper at all apertures across the composition. Now let's take a look at bokeh. Which do you think is nicer? My opinion is coming in 10 seconds. Here's an outdoor example. I think the Sigma is a little bit smoother. Now let's talk about focusing distances. At 28 millimeters, the Tamron is capable of just a little bit closer. Tamron focuses at 7.48 inches, and the Sigma is 9.84. In my real-world testing, it actually seems like a smaller difference than that if you're manually focusing, but it is still definitely a win for the Tamron. If for some reason you wanted to know how they perform at the wider focal lengths, well, I got you covered. The Tamron is actually kind of amazing here. I mean, if you need or want wide-angle close focusing, the Tamron is a real winner. And when you see this shot, you might start getting excited about super wide-angle macro. But hang on. This is the resulting shot. And here's another example outside. The moral of this story is wide angles make things far away. Things that are even just 2 inches from the lens. None of us, dudes, should be sending any dick pics, especially with these lenses. Just a little tip for you. Sorry. Let's talk about Sunstars. Remarkably similar. As I mentioned earlier, both are using a 9-bladed aperture design. Quick test shots, they yield very, very similar results.
How about distortion? It's there. You certainly see it at the wider angles with both lenses, very similar. Quick correction in Lightroom and everything is fine.
I think we can start to wrap this up. If I was picking between these two lenses today, I'd probably pick the Sigma. Most of the time when comparing sharpness, the Sigma comes out on top. It's slight, but it does. That plus the AF/MF switch and just kind of the overall design of this lens makes me lean towards the Sigma. So will I be buying this lens to replace the Tamron I sold? No. Quick story. So on our recent workshop, one of our guests on the workshop was looking for a wide-angle lens for their Sony. Now, I haven't been unhappy with the 17-28, but I wanted to change it up a little bit, and I've been looking for a better lens for stars and astrophotography. I've actually been agonizing over that choice over the last year, maybe longer. It's embarrassing, but the 14 f1.8, the Sony 24 f1.4, or the Sony 20mm f1.8. And finally, just a few weeks ago, I decided to pick up the Sony 20mm f1.8. I am definitely going to miss the versatility of having a wide-angle zoom, but I am really excited for the challenge of a prime and even better astro photos. Back to these lenses. Let me know which two you would consider or pick up, or which one you own maybe, or should we consider something else in this category? You can leave those comments right down below, along with any questions you might have that I didn't already answer on this video. Or you can reach out to me on Instagram. And if you found this video helpful, give it a quick thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and click that little bell so you'll be notified of future videos. If you're already a subscriber, you want to make sure that you are subscribed to all videos. I'm hearing from many of my subscribers that they are missing notifications for videos on this channel. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.